Welcome back to another video. We're gonna compare CATIA V5 with Fusion 360 regarding extrusion within the Freeform workbench. So, as we can see within my previous video, I compare the Freeform modeling between CATIA V5 and Fusion, and I received the following comments. So, CATIA is very fast, and yes, CATIA is fast at updating subdivision surface, but regarding 3D modeling, it's not that fast compared to Fusion. So let's get started. Within this video, we're gonna check the extrusion. Within CATIA Imagine and Shape, the extrusion feature is a little bit hidden because by default, this will be positioned over here underneath Revolve. We're gonna have the Extrude. We see the default hotkey, Alt plus Shift plus Z, which is quite a hard hotkey that requires 3 key presses. And let's take a look at how this works. Currently, I didn't set an exact plane, therefore this will be created directly within the 3D viewer. And we can see that we can define a curve over here. So I position the first point, the second one, the third one, and at the third point we're gonna see how that surface will actually look. So these are just control points. They are similar with other tools. So if I want to close this, I can right click and click on close curve. I can also move the points, align them, and even erase them. For now, I will just close this. And now if I will press OK over here, this will give me the apply. And we're gonna see that by default, CATIA will add depth for this. So imagine that this is a surface, it doesn't have any thickness, but we have that added, let's say, height extrusion. The main problem is that we didn't input any values, so we don't have control exactly on those splines. If, for example, I will select over here everything, by default, everything is selected. But afterwards, if I will go over here within edition, we're gonna receive, in this case, since I'm within translation, the exact location of the origin over here. If I wanna get some information regarding the amount of extruded, we can go over here within affinity. And if I will rotate the viewport, we're gonna see that we have on Z 33 millimeters in this case. So we didn't select anything when we created, and CATIA just added those based on the, let's say, on the shape of that that spline that we use as a reference sketch. So if you want to change that value, we can go over here within edition, and for example, I want this to be 50 millimeters on the Z-axis. So this is why I said that this is a little bit hidden over here, since it will be located within the control toolset, which is this one, control creation. So the first one will be sketch curve, and over here usually we have revolve, but underneath that we're gonna have the extrude. If, for example, I will try to do a sketch curve, I don't have the possibility to use this as an extruded surface that will be compatible with Imagine and Shape, because just like the other shapes, I can define a sketch and I can make those compatible. But we're gonna see that if I will go within the extrude feature over here, I will need to define a new sketch. So I can go and match that, and afterwards click OK, and we're gonna have that position. So in this case, it also didn't go exactly. So as you can see, we have a curvature over here. If, for example, I will select a plane, for example, the X and Y, let me just hide that reference, that axis system. And I will jump within the X and Y plane. And over here, I will go within Generative Shape Design. I will define a sketch over here. And if I will use the spline tool, let's say that I want to extrude this, which I can also add constraint and dimension. I only have the possibility to extrude this over here, but this will be of a surface. So we see that we don't no longer have the subdivision that is compatible with imaginary shape. So this will just be that fill surface, which is not editable. It is editable, but not within the freeform modeling. In order to edit this, I need to go within the sketch and change the base sketch that was used to define this. And if I will try with the same sketch to go back to imaginary shape, and if I will try to extrude this, we're going to see that again, we cannot use that as an extrusion. And this is the most important comparison and difference within Fusion. Let's jump in Fusion and see exactly how we can work with extruded freeforms. I will create a new form. And afterwards, within the create panel, we're going to see that we have the create sketch over here at the top. We have the primitives, but underneath we're going to have the extrude. And we see that this extrude will make use of existing sketches. So if I will create a new sketch and on the X and Y plane, just like we did previously in CATIA, I will use over here a spline. So let's say that this will be the spline. I will create and continue over here. I will finish this sketch. And afterwards, if I will go and extrude this, we're going to see that I can do the selection. So the previously selected sketch over here. And over here, we're going to see that Fusion will actually match that profile. In this case, it will use 8 faces. If, for example, I will only add 2 faces over here, and if I will rotate, we're going to see how Fusion will match the bottom profile. So in this case, since we only have one single spline, it will manage to do that even by using only 2 faces. But usually we need to add more faces in order to be as close as the input sketch over here. And one of the main advantage over here, we see that we can make use of pre-existing sketches, and afterwards we can easily manipulate them. But if, for example, we are going to create a different profile over here, let me just create a new sketch on the same X and Y plane over here. And now I will create the profile of something that will be curved. So we are within the sketch workbench over here. Let me just see, because I see over here we have finish form, we have the create, but we don't have the... Okay, so now I enter on that plane. I only clicked over here on top, so that only gave me the top view. Now we are within the sketch workbench, and if I will use the fit spline over here, and I will create a fit spline with multiple curvatures, so something like this, and over here again a big curvature, and afterwards I will close this. We see over here that there are a lot of splines defining this shape, and if I will use this as an extrude, we're going to see that only with 8 faces, Fusion will match this profile like this. But if I will increase this, for example, up to 30, Fusion will have no problem to match that. So it's not perfect. As we can see over here, there are some slight difference, but we can always increase the number of faces in this case. So for example, if I will go all the way to 50, this will match a lot better with the original reference. So regarding the ease of use, I'm really curious what is your opinion regarding CATIA V5 and Fusion. From my point of view, I feel like Fusion has a much more simple interface, a lot easier to use, even though if the number of features is not that high as within CATIA Imagine & Shape, the functionality are all, let's say, embedded within the existing tools. So you can actually shape almost anything that you like. Okay, so I will position a similar video over here on the bottom. I will add this to a playlist over here at the top. And I will add a subscribe button over here to the right. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching.